What's up everyone, it's Kajani with a crafting and gathering prep guide for Dawn Trail. Early access for Dawn Trail will be on June 28th, with the full release being on July 2nd. This will give us plenty of time to prepare our crafters and gatherers for all the new things that will be released in Dawn Trail, so let's get started. On Dawn Trail's release, we can expect new materia, new gear, new tomes of folklore, and a whole lot more. The crafted gear will end up being best in slot after it's overmelded, and with overmelding, we all know how that's gonna go, so please look forward to all the materia that will be lost in the melding process. In Dawn Trail, the level cap will increase from 90 to 100. It's anticipated that the leveling options that we'll have at the start of Dawn Trail will be the same options that we had at the start of Endwalker. With that said, be prepared to use lev quests, collectables, crafting and gathering role quests, and Grand Company turn-ins to level up. For Fisher, ocean fishing is still probably going to be the best way to level. Of the options that will be available, I recommend leveling primarily with your role quest and turning in as many collectibles as possible. This is not only for the experience, but also for the crafting and gathering scripts that they'll provide. We're going to need all the scripts that we can get, mainly to purchase materia, as well as the new tomes of folklore. Leveling in Dawn Trail should start with your Grand Company. Looking at the list, you'll see that it's all level 90 turn-ins that you have access to craft or gather right away. Keep in mind though that the list does rotate some of the turn-in items, so I would recommend just having some Endwalker crafting mats in your inventory, so when you're ready to start leveling in Dawn Trail, you can turn in or craft whatever your Grand Company is asking for. The Botanist and Miner tomes will unlock legendary nodes, which will contain crafting materials used to craft the new recipes related to the Savage raid tier. Since the legendary nodes are available right away, you can farm them to prepare for the recipes that will be released along with Savage. Speaking of the Savage raids, about 3 weeks after the release of Dawn Trail, we will get patch 7.05 and the first set of Savage raids. For those of us about that crafting and gathering life, this means that we will get our first set of master recipe books, which will contain crafting recipes for raid gear, consumables, and intermediary crafting materials. The release of a raid tier is really exciting for crafters because it presents an opportunity to make a lot of gil. Well, that's until the crafting PvP starts and the undercutting gets really bad. It's going to be very easy to make gil at the start of Dawn Trail because not everyone's going to have time to do things like gather the new materials, craft their own gear, or farm materia. So that's where you come in. If you're able to sell these things, especially early on in the expansion, you can expect to make some bank. Then after the expansion is released, you'll have another opportunity to make some gil once the Savage raid tier is released. And if you're wondering what specifically to sell to make gil in Dawn Trail, well, there's going to be so many options, and these are going to range from selling materia, the new furnishings, gear and tools, raid gear, weapons and consumables, materials gathered from legendary nodes. There really are a lot of options to choose from, so in the end, just pick what works for you, then get busy. Before Dawn Trail, you want to get as much gil as possible, capping both your white and purple scripts, as well as getting as many bicolor gemstones as you can. You can use your gil sort of like an express pass to bypass any crafting, materia farming, gathering, or whatever else you don't feel like doing. During Dawn Trail, you can just head to the market board and purchase whatever you want, then keep it moving. Whatever you do for gil, keep doing it. However, don't forget about your lev quest turn-ins. You can make an easy 100k with just 10 turn-ins. The go-to lev quest is the Alchemist Lev Practical Command. Here, you'll turn in high-quality Craftsman's Drought. Despite the initial Endwalker gemstone rewards being quite the disappointment, bicolor gems are extremely helpful from a crafting standpoint. As you can see, you can purchase 50 crafting materials in exchange for 100 gems, which comes out to about 9 fates, and for really popular items, you can get a stack of 99 for a little under 200 gems. To get prepared, I would say farm anywhere from 200 to 400 bicolor gems, or at least keep them in mind should you need to purchase crafting materials in Dawn Trail. Bicolor gemstones are a currency that you'll earn by completing fates, and I hope they continue to be used in Dawntrail because Lord knows we already have enough currencies to keep track of. Stocking up on crafting collectibles before the release of a new expansion will give you a head start on all the things that you'll need to purchase with scripts, especially new materia. Believe me when I tell you that materia prices at the beginning of Dawntrail will be insane. So if you plan to do any endgame melding, especially for your crafting gear, you should definitely stock up on collectibles to help mitigate the cost of materia. The higher level turn-ins will pay out the most scripts in Dawntrail. So with that said, rarefied Psychon Bavarios is an easy recipe to craft. The Psychon and the palm sugar can be taken care of with your botanist. The Ovabos milk is a mob drop, which I recommend getting from either a gemstone trader, Disciple of War retainer venture, or from the market board. Lastly, the gelatin can be purchased from Vral, who is a material vendor in the Crystarium. While we're on the subject of materia, you may want to consider stocking up on number 9 crafting and gathering materia. Number 9 materia can be used as a temporary option to boost your stats on the new crafting and gathering gear sets that will be introduced in Dawntrail. This is something you may want to consider because it is going to take time to farm enough of the new 11 and 12 materia that will be necessary for optimal stats. Number 9 materia could very well be used to increase CP or GP in upcoming melds in Dawntrail. Typically, increasing either of those stats is usually saved for the very last materia slot, which happens to have the lowest success rate. A great place for number 9 materia is your Island Sanctuary, where you can turn in your calories in for materia. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about hoarding calories for new Island Sanctuary content. Yoshi P said that there could be more Island Sanctuary content in Dawntrail if there was demand for it. I honestly don't think there will be more demand for the spreadsheet simulator that Island Sanctuary turned out to be, and even if they did add more content with some rewards, anything worthwhile would probably be purchased with Felicitous tokens. With that said, just keep your Island Sanctuary in mind if number 9 materia ends up being useful in Dawntrail. That's all I got for this crafting and gathering prep guide for Dawntrail. If I missed anything or you have any tips to share, please let me know in the comments, or if you have any questions, please let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch y'all in the next video. Until next time, peace.